Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Fastest Podcast, where we discuss everything from the greatest overtakes to the fastest pit stops. I am here with Dogra and Jasmine, who have agreed to join me tonight, and we will be talking about sprint races tonight. We've seen them for the past couple of years. We've had good ones, bad ones, and everything in between. Um, Dogra, what do you think of them so far?
First and foremost, you said that we agreed to be here. I didn't. I don't remember signing a consent form. But
That's fair enough.
sprint races, I think they're fun because you know it's more along the lines of why wait for a race? Why not just have one right now? That's what they are for me. It's basically getting to enjoy the Sunday race on a Saturday. I like it. I like the format. Plus, we don't have to. I'm not sure if I should be using this language, but I don't like wasting time with three free practices. Why don't we consider sprint race a free practice as well? So instead of going around the track like 500 to 600 times, we just have a race and get our bearings straight then and there. That's what sprint races are. I love them. They're very fun. I think they should do that for every weekend, just like F2 and F3.
I completely disagree. I just because it's Dogra, I completely disagree. No, I don't. I don't particularly enjoy them. I would enjoy them if they're. I think the thing that stops me from enjoying them is that you can tell that drivers don't necessarily go for moves maybe as they would in a Grand Prix. I think there's a lot. They're very tentative. I just feel like they hold back. You don't wanna damage your car for like what 8 points max. It doesn't really do a lot for me. I think there are ways that they could definitely tweak the format that would make it more enjoyable. And I don't know. I have very mixed opinions. I don't I don't love it. But I think that is a big, very much linked to the way that they run them, maybe.
I don't think we have had many disagreements on the podcast before. It's actually good that we have two people who have completely different opinions on it now.
Are we fighting?
Let's go.
Get ready. No. Let's keep it PG-13. So, Jasmine, you say you don't like how they are being handled. We have seen some changes, of course, since the introduction in 2021. Right now, you can get 8 points on a Saturday by winning a sprint race. And then you go to qualifying for the main race, of course. It used to be only 3 points for the top three finishers. And then you had to basically set the grid with the sprint race as well for the main race. Do you like the change that they've made to the sprint weekend so far? So that you have only one practice session, then a sprint qualifying, then a sprint race, then qualifying, and then the race? Or would you have preferred the two practice sessions scattered out throughout the weekend, and then having the sprint race also be qualifying?
I quite like that they are kind of. I quite like that we don't have the multiple practice sessions. I think it kind of does add to the sort of uncertainty element. Teams can't necessarily prepare as well, which I think sometimes does produce more interesting things for the fans. I don't know if I preferred the old format of where you place in the sprint race is where you start for the Grand Prix, or if I prefer this new format. I think maybe because I just don't particularly like sprint races in general. But I think it's maybe better this way, the way that they do it. I don't really think I have a strong enough opinion on the actual weekend format. I definitely think that it's a good thing that they've increased the points, and again, I don't know if we see as much action as we could see because of the way the point system is. I think they should at least have the top 10 scoring points. I feel like they used to be very kind of, let's just throw an idea out there and see what happens, which is something that I don't really like change at the best of times. I don't mess with my weekend format, but I don't know.
Yeah, I do believe that the last time they actually just threw an idea in there was 2016 with the new qualifying format, where they had a driver elimination every 90 seconds after 10 minutes. So I don't think they should just throw an idea in there anymore. But you say that there have been improvements, but there could still be quite a few to be made to make you actually want to enjoy watch sprint races. Deborah, do you agree? Or
I mean, sure, they can add that surprise element of what F2 and F3 do with the reversing the top 10 grid and actually have more points at stake than just, 8. 8 is a measly number. I mean, sure, it can make a difference when you are separated by 8 points, but that's about it. And I think that's the current situation for Lando and Piastri right now at the top, or is it 6? It's below 10.
9?
9. So yeah, see, even if one of them wins a sprint race, it won't make a difference. It might extend Piastri's lead, but it won't have Norris catch up that well. But yeah, if there were a lot more points at stake, say half of a race, and they had mandatory pit stops, then I feel like sprint races actually have a lot of potential to be as enjoyable as the main race, albeit smaller.
Yeah, I would agree with that actually completely. I think as a viewer, having pit stops, doing something interesting with the grid, for me, I don't really see the point of doing the same thing twice, but not as exciting as a Grand Prix. It doesn't appeal to me in that sense. I think when you watch an F2 weekend and there's different factors, there's different things going on. I'm a believer that a reverse grid should be the whole grid reversed and not just the top 10. I don't really think that adds loads. So if they were to consider doing that in F1, reverse the whole thing. Make it different. Make it stand out as its own event. Give P1 10 points all the way down to 1 point in P10. Whatever. Just make it different enough and give it its own identity. Because at the moment it's just doing all the same things but less fun, in my opinion.
yeah,
I feel like that all.
I actually have to disagree with you on that one. I don't think that reverse grid is the solution to the current sprint problem that we have. If you qualify on pole, you should start on pole, especially with the amount of money being involved in doing well in Formula One. It's of course not an issue in F2 and F3 because teams don't get money because everyone has the same car anyways. So if you qualify pole, I think you should start pole, whichever race that be. But I do think we should have more points and at least point gaps between places, because right now it goes down from 8 to 1 and there's no big gap. So even if you make an amazing move for the lead on your championship rival, it's a 2-point swing, which is not very interesting. Yeah, I don't think reverse grid is the issue or the solution to this. But they should really try and do something, because I think that they have 2 races. One is I think closer to a fourth of an F1 race, and then the full race is a third of the distance or half. So they have way more laps in their sprint race. So they have to make the tires last usually. And usually when you see interesting races, you see different strategies. But nowadays, everyone just chucks on a hard or a medium, and they can easily make it through the sprint race. Something crazy has to happen in like the first few laps for anyone to actually gamble onto the soft tires, especially with how few tires they have available, of course. I think the only thing that can make them exciting is rain, to be fair. But that's for every race we've seen so far in 2025. That the races really aren't all that interesting, except when it actually rains. Do you think a part of the problem we've seen with racing in general or with the sprint race is the cars? Do you think that with different cars we could see more interesting sprint races?
I would like to actually propose a new model for sprint races right now. You take a sprint race, you add the qualifying aspect to it. How? Let's say you have a 25 lap sprint race, right? After 10 laps, eliminate the bottom five.
Do you know what?
Then after the next 10 laps, you eliminate the other bottom five. So that's top 10 right there. Then you have them race the last 5 laps. Boom. Problem solved.
How would this work in Spa, where there's only like 17 laps?
You increase the laps, man. Come on. You actually have to divide the race in 3 equal parts. So if it's 17 races, you can probably do what? I don't know, 5?
Yeah.
5 by 7?
I don't think you're striking at gold there, man.
I quite like it.
Yeah, you see?
I quite like
Somebody
it.
agrees.
I mean, I'd like to clarify that I don't think that we're going to save sprint races by doing a reverse grid. That's just an example of something to give it its own identity. Now, I think what Douglas just proposed,
Chaos.
I think it has legs, you know. I think we could do something with that.
Then, just the last 5 cars just head into the pits and they're like, God damn it. It's a flawless idea, you say.
I don't think flawless is the word I would
It can be
use.
refined. It can be refined. But it's a proposal. FIA, if you're watching this, consider.
So if I get this right, then we'll have again 2 practices then on Friday. Then we have the sprint qualifying. Then we have the sprint race, and we use the sprint race again for setting the grid on Sunday, right? Is that how you want it?
Yeah.
I mean, we should
we don't
draw it
have
up.
to do that. We don't have to. We don't have to
I have some
have the
idea.
sprint race set up the main race, but to make the sprint race itself fun enough, we have the main qualifying before the sprint race.
To be fair,
Then we just use that grid just for the main race. No, sorry, for the sprint race as well.
this is a better formed idea, in my opinion, than some of the stuff we're seeing in F1 now.
If any of the FIA is watching, please hire Dogra for any and all.
I think it's. I think there's something in there. There's something in there.
So talking about how to improve sprint races, we have, of course, F1 President Stefano Domenicali, who has been adamant at improving sprint races over the years. He said we need more sprint races, we need different sprint races. He's very eager to try different things and to deviate from the regular playbook. Recently, he has made some quotes to the race, where he was comparing them to F2 and F3, as we also have. He said there are definitely opportunities to extend in 2 aspects of the sprint races, which they should discuss with driver teams and the FIA, which is, can we apply the sprint race calendar to more events? And is this the right formula to have the possibility of having a reverse grid as we are doing with F2 and F3? He thinks these are points for discussions, and he thinks they should definitely get awareness for these issues with the teams for sprint races. So he wants to basically have a sprint race in Monaco. What I read so far. Um, yeah, what do you think of this? Because of course we've already touched on how to improve sprint races. Do you think that fans, drivers, teams, and the sport as a whole is going to be happy with 24 or even 12 sprint races in a season?
No. Carry on, Dogra.
I was about to say no as well, actually. I think 24 is. I mean, sure, I said before that, we should have sprint races around weekends, but that was just me exaggerating. 20, that's a lot of work for a team over the weekend, and, they'd be dead tired for the race. 12 is agreeable. 8 is the best because that's just the third of the calendar, so we can just have a sprint race every third weekend. And if you have more points at stake, you actually have the chance to change the balance of the drivers championship. So yeah, I you know combine my idea, combine 8 races, and then you have the best format ever.
12, 24 is too many. 12 is too many. I could meet you at 8. I could meet you at 8. I think, honestly, at the moment, 6 is a good number. That's like a third of the calendar. No, it's not.
It's a fourth.
It's a fourth of
It's
the
a fourth.
calendar. I'm a writer, not a
it's
mathematician.
I think it's just a shame that we have 2 sprint weekends in basically the start of the season. That we have to wait basically half of a season for the next one.
Oh,
And I think
no.
we're going to be seeing like 3 sprint races almost back to back to back. Please don't
See,
quote me on that.
That's the thing. If you have a structured format, right? With
Yeah,
three-
we'll have 3 sprint races in 5 weekends.
No, that's just stupid. They should just put it like they should just make it. Every third weekend is a sprint race. Simple, structured, gets the job done.
I think the problem that they have as well is, tracks that want to do that will put more money into doing it. We've seen that a lot of circuits are kind of struggling with funding. So for them, chucking a sprint race in is not going to help anyone. So I think we're being very idealistic in saying that we want them to be nice and evenly spaced out, because that is also going to come down to from circuit to circuit. I don't think it's allocated as simply as time conscious and more who wants it, who can facilitate it. I think 6 or 8, I can stomach that. I'll go along with it. Only if they implement Dogra's idea. If they don't,
We should really work that one out and then post it to Twitter as well.
Yeah, dude.
We'll call it Dogra's delusion.
I think put it
yeah.
to the public. See what they think.
Let's get fans voting on it as well. We're of course saying this, and we have, I think, a confirmed 2026 sprint calendar, which was, I think, leaked by the official Twitter page of Zandvoort. Have you guys seen this, or?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll pull it up really quickly. That is not the right one, excuse me.
Zandvoort leaking it is just quite funny, though, I think.
That is pretty funny, yeah.
I think
mean,
that's why
they
they're
had-
not on the calendar, no?
They had confirmed that Zandvoort would be getting a sprint race in its final year of running. However, I'm looking at these 6 races and I'm seeing some genuinely worrying tracks on there. So we'll be starting off the sprint season in China as we did this year. I mean, we didn't see a really interesting sprint race, but I think Hamilton winning it was kind of the only plus that we saw from that. Then we'll be heading off to our everyone's favorite race, Miami, where we'll have another sprint race. Yeah, I don't think we need to spend any time on that one. Third off, we'll be heading to Canada. So that's back-to-back sprints, I think.
No.
That should
Because they changed Canada to fit in with the European calendar. I mean, we did get a pretty interesting race this year in Canada, which was pretty tight between everyone. I think if you add the sprint element to that, we could actually see some great racings because everyone will be having more pressure. But again, only 1 point per overtake. So
Canada's kind of the best so far on that list. I feel like
I haven't got to the good ones yet. So
yeah, no, I know. I feel like this is about to go really downhill.
Was Canada the best because the McLarens crashed?
No, that was really difficult actually for me personally. No, I mean on the list of sprint races for next year, so far.
I think Canada could be a good track for sprint race action. Fourth on the list is Great Britain, Silverstone. So we will be seeing another sprint at Silverstone. I think they have delivered in the past.
Yeah.
I think Silverstone delivers every year we race there, but yeah, sprint races as well. They have delivered. Of course, the very first sprint race ever was done there as well.
Yeah,
which is
and the very first race ever.
Yeah,
tradition.
A lot of firsts there. Then fifth on the list we have Zandvoort, as they are the ones who leaked it.
Boo! Boo!
Okay, every ounce of my body just. I mean, I obviously have a soft spot for Zandvoort, as I'm Dutch. I do think we can get an interesting race there, depending on the situations, of course. Yeah, do you guys want to have a guess for the final one? Because you're never going to get it.
I think I know what it is, so I'm going to let Dogra guess. In fact, I do know what it is.
Is it Singapore?
Yeah.
How did you guess that? Whoever came up with that, I have no words. I have no polite words. Like
I think they either had a nose full or they were just smoking weed or something, because that doesn't make sense at all.
I mean, again, they probably wanted to hold the sprint weekend, but I just think that is absolutely ridiculous. I think we all enjoy Singapore because it is such a great qualifying lap. We do not need to see a race twice. In my opinion.
To be fair, a sprint weekend does mean 2 qualifying sessions. So they got you there.
Yeah, but 2 qualifying sessions is not worth 2 processions that will follow. Like, I don't think...
Yeah.
Like, and again, I think qualifying in Singapore is special. Like, I don't dilute it like that. It's just going to be bad.
Yeah. I do think, because especially in street circuits, we see those practices, they really pay off.
Yeah.
You see every single practice they either go 1 second faster or they learn something about the setup. We saw in Monaco this year with Norris setting the new track record as well. I think those practices are really vital to the weekend, especially for rookies. You know, it's important for them to get grips. If you add a sprint weekend on a street circuit, then you literally have 1 hour of practice, and then you have to go full speed into a wall, probably, which is not great, you know. Yeah, I'm a little bit torn between them. I like qualifying, especially in Singapore, but having 2 hours less of practice might be the thing that kills it. Yeah.
I have no words actually.
No words.
I mean, I already don't like sprint races on a street circuit. Like, just doesn't make sense. Like, because you need more practice with a street circuit than you need with a regular circuit. So having a sprint race on a street circuit, as you said, they have less time to figure it out. And for tracks as difficult as Singapore, you need more practice to get to grips with the car, right? Especially next year, if when they have new cars, it's a whole new track to battle it out on. Then you have 1 hour and then you have chaos. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like 3 DNFs there.
I will say though,
Only
like,
3?
Minimum.
on the topic of like practice sessions though, I think if they went full send and did 24 sprint races in a season, like it takes away so much, like, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but testing time, like just in general, they've already had it reduced so much, and it's already so sort of, elusive having that time. It's so precious. And then you're going to take away even more time that they should have, I think it will very quickly stop maybe being enjoyable if people aren't, prepared. And also, like personnel for the teams, things will very quickly start going wrong. I mean, we saw, like, and we've heard from like mechanics and other team members, anonymously kind of breaking their silence, and that 24 extra races, even just there's so many factors as to why that is just so not right. But
Yeah. Of course, we also have the cost cap to think about with this. I think F1 is slowly losing its title as the most prestigious
the
sport of
pinnacle
all
of
time.
motorsport.
I think one of the things that really attracts everyone who wants to contribute to it in any way is, of course, money. Not just earning money, but the opportunity to grow within a team to a place where you are special, valued. And right now you're kind of just stuck in the cost cap. You can't really grow that much. We've had several mechanics just jump ship from F1 to go to IndyCar, NASCAR, endurance racing, because they can make the big bucks there, and they can still enjoy doing their jobs, working on the cars, getting the most out of it. Yeah.
I think the only
Who goes first?
Ladies first.
No, finish what you were saying. Sorry, I thought you were done.
I kind of forgot what I was saying anyway. So.
I was just going to say about the cost cap, like the only thing that we've kind of seen come out of it has really just been this year. I mean, we've had it for 4 years now, and this year's probably the first time that we've actually seen the performance gap start to close. I know we've kind of seen glimpses of that over the last maybe 2 seasons, but this season, really, we've seen it like actually have an impact. I mean, we were talking earlier about how there aren't really necessarily back marker teams anymore. It's kind of like the front runners, and then a midfield, and whatever is happening could happen. So in that regard, like we've kind of seen for the first time how the cost cap's working, but losing that kind of engineering creativity is also like kind of sad if you're a big fan of that aspect of the sport, which a lot of people are. It's not necessarily just about cars on track. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's the thing. Like when you let engineers do what they can, they come up with systems like the DAS, innovative as hell. FI is like you can have buttons that can change the orientation of the wheels. Mercedes said, "Okay, the steering wheel is the button, so we don't have any buttons on the steering." Then you have what Ferrari did in 2018, 24, 16, I think, where like I think it was the fuel thing where the sensor sends a signal to how much fuel that is being pumped into the engine. So it sends the data back to the FIA every 10 seconds, but Ferrari was changing the load every 9 seconds so that the data was correct, but the fuel being pumped was like a lot more than it should be. I get that's cheating, but innovative as hell.
I think there's a big difference between innovating something that's not in the rules versus just changing data to benefit yourself.
I mean, it's not like they're changing data. It's like,
No,
they
no, but
just
they
use
were
the...
They were.
they were punished for it.
They
So
were.
I think
there's a difference, and I mean, I do like what Mercedes did at the time. They went a completely different way. FIA was like, okay, we can't find it in the rules to say it's not allowed. So run it for this season. Next season, you can say goodbye to it.
Yep.
What Ferrari did was just not allowed,
Illegal.
and they got punished for it behind
Still
screens,
innovative.
as we saw with their performance from 2020 to 2021, and then back into the new era. They bounced back into their rightful place at the top, kind of at the top. Yeah, as you say, Jasmine, I do think that we have seen the cost cap working in kind of an aspect. We have seen 2024 a lot of different race winners, especially at the top. Everyone was very close, and then you definitely had a clear midfield in that year as well. Now, of course, we have McLaren just racing away with it, and then the rest are, if you mess up your qualifying lap, you are genuinely toast for the entire weekend, because it's very difficult to fight back. And it looks like I have an internet issue. Nice. Should be fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. We've covered the amount of points on offer in a weekend. We no longer have the fastest lap point, which was removed last year. Would you like to see more points on offer in regards to qualifying? So if, say, you have a sprint weekend, you can get 1 point for sprint pole and 2 points for pole. And then the 2 points for pole are always on offer in every single weekend, because then pole actually has a value.
How about a point for the fastest pit stop?
I mean, we kind of have to endorse that one.
Yep. We have to.
No, but-
And it actually makes sense because you see a team performing at peak, especially if they do something like a double stack, we can offer them 2 points. I mean, that's a big risk, but if they pull it off with like really, really close times or really, really like sub 2.1 seconds, then you're allowed to offer them a point. I just feel like it gets a lot more competitive in that sense, because then teams actually have an incentive to perform they already do have an incentive to perform their faster pit stops, but then you have another one, which is an extra point. So.
I think we need to get you sat down with the FIA. I think we need to make that happen.
You need to get a PowerPoint ready to present to Mercedes, just full on George Russell style, and then get them to endorse your ideas and bring them to the FIA.
It's going to be literally just handwritten and just Dogra's race ideas, and I misspell race.
It's a great start.
Yeah. But what do you think about what I said? Because you went a completely different way. I mean, I like it, but you went a completely different way. Points for qualifying on pole.
I think, they should actually have points for both the pole positions, both sprint and quali. I think it adds a great aspect. I think whenever you have incentive to do something, for example, it's something like, as I said, when you're given something to do something better, you just naturally perform it well. So if you... What's up? Go ahead.
You could say, like, the incentive there is you start first. Like, that's the...
That's there. That's correct. But there's another aspect, where you get extra points. You got the fastest lap, you get an extra point, you get an edge over your, rival.
I should say that there are tracks where you do not want to start on pole, as we've seen in recent past. Belgium, if you mess up turn one, you're toast. We'll be going to Mexico later this year, another track where you really do not want to start on pole. Yeah, I think getting a point for pole position is one of those things that it just makes sense in my opinion, to be rewarded for going fastest in qualifying, even if it's not the best position necessarily on a Sunday. Yeah.
I think they should leave it how it is. Give them their little tyre, send them on their way. I don't think it needs points. Maybe you guys have noticed I don't like messing with the system. But no, I think for qualifying, I just don't think it needs to change. I think qualifying works very, very well. And when we start chucking points around, I don't think it needs it. I think the famous point stands, points come on Sunday and Saturday now and all the other days in the race weekend. But traditionally, I'm a bit of a purist on the system as it is at the moment. I like it. I think it works. I don't think we need to change it. But it's an interesting debate. Like, should they? Why should they? They get something out of it. They get their tyre. They get to meet a famous person.
I mean, they are famous persons.
They get to meet other famous people. And they get to start on pole position. That should be enough.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
but fastest pit stop.
Fastest pit stop they should definitely give points for.
We were all saying this under duress as Doug Grass tweeted us.
Yeah.
Okay, closing out. We have had 4 years of sprint now. We're still in the 4th year of it. What are you guys' favorite moments from F1 sprints throughout its history? Yeah, can be anything. Just your favorite moments.
I'll go ahead then. Hamilton pole baby and win in China this year. We did
That was a
that.
good one.
I mean, I practically screamed. You were on the call with me that day. I practically screamed. And if you're talking about poles, we're also going for a Magnussen's pole, which was a legendary moment. I remember the in garage celebrations for Haas. I remember the words that Steiner used to describe himself and the team, and just felt nice to actually finally get Mag some much needed recognition at this point. Those are mine.
That's fair enough.
Serious answer, I think, would be Hamilton, Brazil 2021. That was a rough weekend for him. And I think the sprint actually added something to the whole weekend for once. I think all of the moving parts there, disqualification, grid drop, everything, and he still came through the field and he did it twice, which was a good moment. Stressful, but it was a good moment. So that's thing, I think, one. I think my unserious answer, it's not really a racing moment, but just the content that we got from when Russell and Verstappen crashed in Baku. I think that just provided entertainment. And that's all I'm asking for, really. So the quotes we've had since.
Yeah, I think that was one of those big points that sparked up the Russell Verstappen controversies that we have seen in recent years. Yeah, I mean, I asked you, of course, for your best sprint moments. I haven't given it a thought myself. We have had some pretty good ones. I think it's especially in the first years we've seen really interesting qualifying sessions, and then the sprint kind of evened it out. But we have seen some great moments. I think Daniel Ricciardo in 2024 in Miami was a really good one. He finished in P5, I think, or P4, holding back a Ferrari, Sainz in a Ferrari, which was a personal favorite of mine. Yeah. And I also think Behrman this year scoring some points in a Haas that I don't think is really supposed to be anywhere near the points. Yeah, Behrman has scored points in the sprint race, which I think is also a very nice moment. Yeah. I think that's all we have for today.
Yep.
Yeah, so sprint race is definitely something to be done to make them more interesting. Jasmine says we should not touch it at all. Just keep this way racing until we can't anymore. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all for today. We wish you a very good day, and we'll see you in a couple of days when we return with the fastest podcast.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. Bye-bye.
Bye.